I've never been one for big cars. At 5'10", or at least that's how I was listed in my high school basketball program, I just don't feel right in a big car. There's also a fuel cost, and from a cost perspective, they're more expensive to rent. That said, let's have ourselves a pocket sized pep talk that has a lot less to do with the size of a car and more to do with a critical lesson in selling.
A Pocket Sized Pep Talk, the podcast that can help energize your business and your life with a quick, inspiring message. Now, here's your host, Rob Jollis.
When it comes to renting a car, it's open and shut case for me. I am a compact man. So when I flew to Albany, I bellied up to the counter for my Enterprise Compact, and I was met with a friendly, fresh face who had other plans. His name was Vinny. And as a veteran sales trainer, I was looking forward to the conversation. Vinny looked up my reservation, smiled, and with my license and credit card in hand, we started the process of getting Rob Jollis behind the wheel of his small car. After all, Rob Jollis is a compact man. There was some idle chat and then a harmless question. Where will you be taking the car, Mr. Jollis? A harmless voice followed. I'm heading to Keene Valley to conduct 3 days of sales training in the Adirondacks. I thought I saw Vinny smile, but that might have been my imagination. Have you checked the weather report, Mr. Jollis? Of course I had. I not only had 2 million miles of air travel under my belt in my career, I wrote a best-selling book on travel. What self-respecting road warrior goes on a trip and doesn't check the weather report for the area they're traveling to? I could sense where this conversation might be going, and I wasn't having any of it. Yes, Vinny, I've checked the weather. Why do you ask? Small grin was gone, and a sincere look took its place. Well, because there's some weather heading in, and I think you might want to rent something a little bit bigger. I think you might want to rent a 4-wheel drive vehicle. This kid was overmatched. I looked at the weather report carefully, and before I left, there was rain and nothing more coming in. I was curious just the same, so we spoke about price. The vehicle was significantly more than the one I was looking to rent, but Vinny seemed like he sincerely was concerned. He offered to drop the price a little bit, but I still wasn't biting. Then Vinny asked me a question that stopped me in my tracks. It was simple, and yet it was brilliant. He calmly asked me, what if the weather changes? I looked at him somewhat dumbfounded, and he went on to say, well, I ask you that question because I'm born and raised here in Albany. I know the Adirondacks well, and I know Keene Valley. The weather can be very volatile there and can change rather quickly. What if the weather changes on you, Mr. Jollis? I stammered a bit, and Vinny bore in. You'll be driving well over 100 miles each way. What effect do you think this will have on your business trip and the next location you might need to get to if you're driving a compact car? And not only was I concerned about the safety of the compact I was considering, I had concerns about getting home to see my daughter in a play she was performing in. It was a one-night performance, and I'd never missed a performance. Getting back to Albany was critical. I told Vinny I'd take the bigger 4-wheel drive vehicle, move past the price, and headed to the mountains. Well, the weather did change, and it snowed for 3 days. The snow total was between 16 to 20 inches. My big 4-wheel drive Ford seemed to almost laugh at the snow. I felt safe in what I was now calling the Vinny Mobile, and the trip was a success. I made it out of the Adirondacks when the training was over and had no trouble getting back to Albany to catch my flight. I learned at a young age, as a 21-year-old insurance agent from a grizzled sales vet, that selling isn't a question of what is. It's a question of what if. By asking me that simple question, a question I conveniently avoided asking myself, an enterprise employee saved me from missing a life event with my youngest child. While he was at it, He helped me to avoid other costs a delay would have incurred and ultimately saved me money. The Vinny-mobile may have been a few dollars more a day to rent, but it became the best bargain on the road to drive. Vinny also earned a client for life, my respect and my appreciation. Who knows? Maybe it's time to reconsider whether I'm still a compact man. I really liked driving that Vinny-mobile.
Thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed today's show, please rate and recommend it on iTunes, Outcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. You can also get more information on this show and Rob at jollis.com.